live longer than fear ya, you'll obey this love when you obey His law. Yeah. The root of all wisdom is the fear. If you wanna live longer than fear, you'll obey His love when you obey His law. Through everything, yeah. We live in a world that is backwards. They call good evil and evil good. The hopes of man, point of understanding, are vain and false. I heard a wise man say, if you love me, keep my commandments. But you choose to do what you want to do, cause you hated instruction. The root of all wisdom is the fear. If you want to live longer, the fear, you'll obey His love. When you obey His love, everything. Who created heaven and earth? The moon and the stars. And who created you? We gon' have to keep it simple. So many people, they are clueless on the details of reality. You say you love Him, but you never want to do anything that He say. Reject His word, you choose to do everything in your way. You want to right this world, first take a look in the mirror. Don't just be a hero, it's a must to be a root for wisdom is the fear. If you want to live longer, the fear, you'll obey His love. When you obey His love, the root of all wisdom is the fear. If you wanna live longer, the fear. You will receive His Ecclesiastes 1:20. You obey His love. The root of wisdom is the fear of Yahweh, and the branches thereof are all life.
Shabbat Shalom, Facebook family. Shabbat Shalom to all my people out of YouTube. We'd like to welcome you to a special edition, week 13 of the manifestation of the so-called black man, of the so-called African-American man. Tonight, we'd like to give all praise and all honor to Ahaya Bahashem Yeshaya and His precious Ruach. And for those of you not familiar with the Hebrew, that is all praise unto the Most High in the name of Christ as well as the Holy Spirit. Once again, we'd like to welcome each and every one of you to week 13 of the manifestation of the so-called black man, of the so-called African-American man who's from the tribe of Judah for the nation of Israel. We pray and hope tonight that all is well with you and your families. Pray and hope that you guys have came in with a spirit of truth and of humility and seeking to know the Most High in a special way tonight. Shabbat Shalom, Minister Stone. Good seeing you tonight. As we always say, you could have been anywhere in the world. Due to the fact you decided to join us tonight, we do not take your time for granted. Shema Yasha Allah Ahaya, Allah Haya Nawa Ahaya Kat. Shema Yasha Allah Ahaya, Allah Haya Nawa Ahaya Kat. Shema Yasha Allah Ahaya, Allah Haya Nawa Ahaya Kat. Hero Israel.
Hero Israel.
The Lord our Yah is one.
The Lord our Yah.
Once again, we'd like to welcome each and every one of you to week 13 of the manifestation of the so-called black man, of the so-called African-American man, who is from the tribe of Judah for the nation of Israel. Shabbat Shalom, prophetess. Good seeing you on with us tonight. We thank each and every one of you for joining us tonight. And we are so glad to see you guys doing well with everything that's going on in the world. And we have a dynamic Sabbath presentation for you guys tonight. Normally, for those who are normally with us, you know that on Tuesday nights, we do our Q&A. But because we're currently in the Feast of Unleavened Bread, our ministry is observing the Feast of Unleavened Bread. We did a special message last Tuesday called Anything Weighted Down When I Rise. And I pray and hope you guys get an opportunity to check it out. Shabbat Shalom, Mama V. Good seeing you on with us tonight. But tonight, because of everything that's going on, we've had so many people hitting us up. I mean, it's just a lot going on. And people are concerned. People want to know what's going on. So tonight, through the Spirit of the Most High, we was instructed to do a Q&A session tonight on the Sabbath. And I'm telling you right now, we done been flooded with questions. And tonight, we're going to answer questions live. For those who haven't sought the questions, I'm telling you tonight. So for those who never did a Q&A session with us, this is an opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, for you to ask questions about your own personal journey, about your own personal relationship with the Most High. The only thing that we ask is, ladies and gentlemen, that you don't ask a question about a particular camp, some particular church, a particular pastor, or someone else's belief. Allow this to be about your own personal journey with the Most High, and we will do what we can to answer those questions to the best of our ability. But D, if we don't know the answer to those questions, we put our hand over our mouth. We're not going to tell you opinion. We're not going to give you rhetoric. You will not be attacked for any question that you have tonight. Anything you want to know, no matter how insignificant or small you may deem it, you can ask it and we will bring it out in the Bible to the best of our ability. We will not allow anyone else to attack you. You understand? All are welcome here tonight. So ladies and gentlemen, please do us a favor. For those, when you come on YouTube, please like the video. For those who are on Facebook, please share this and bring your family members on. Let's discuss this. Let's have a discussion. Let's reason together. You understand? And let the Most High be truth and let everyone else be a lie. Quick announcement. We will be starting Better Day Answer April the 7th. Regardless of whom or what, April the 7th, we will be starting. And the address for that church that we're going to be starting is 105 South Rutherford Street in Wadesboro, North Carolina. 105 South Rutherford Street in Wadesboro, North Carolina. So we're really excited about that. Hit us up to the inbox of Gmail if you have any questions concerning that. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I said before, we have a lot of questions that's already been submitted, but we will answer every person's question tonight. So if you have some that you want to submit live, we have some that we're going to get to, and then we will answer your questions in the order in which they came. You are important. How you feel is important. We are here for you guys tonight. Shabbat Shalom. Good seeing you on with us tonight. So please share these videos, share this live on your wall. Invite your family and friends in. Everyone is in the house, right? Right. I know some other things are going on. There's people. If you want answers, if you want some understanding tonight, log on, get your people on. Let's sit down and let's reason together with the Bible. All right. Now we have a few foundation scriptures that we're going to go through before we get into the questions, so that give you time to get your thoughts together for anyone that has some questions. We're going to go through these foundation scriptures and we're going to dive right in. All right. So let's get it. Let's get started. Let's go to Matthew 10. I need you to hold that and give me Isaiah 30. Okay. Just setting the foundation tonight. Matthew 10 and Isaiah 30. All right. And I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there. Facebook, if you have a problem and all of a sudden the sound or the video goes out, we're on YouTube. So D, could you take the link for YouTube and put it into Facebook? Just in case. Because some things are gonna get said tonight, and I can almost guarantee they don't want you to know. Right? So we're gonna put that out here right now. If something happens, we're on YouTube, and YouTube usually gives us a chance. Facebook, you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna put that out there tonight. If something happens, Deacons put that link in there. Just come straight to YouTube and go in. All right, let's go. Shabbat shalom, Sister Rodriguez. Good seeing you on with us tonight. So let's go Matthew 10 and Isaiah 30. Matthew 10, D, let's get in verse 26 there.
Fear them not, therefore there is nothing covered.
And now to read that again.
Fear them not, therefore.
No, Salaki, verse 28. That's what I wanted. That's why I was off. That's on me. 28. Matthew 10 and 28.
Fear not them which kill the body.
So, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of you right now are concerned with a so-called virus that it may kill you. You may be concerned that these things could take you out. You're listening to the news and they're telling you death is all around you. But read that again. Vicky says what?
Fear not them which kill the body.
Don't fear what can kill your body. Go ahead.
But are not able to kill the soul.
But is not able to kill your soul. Don't worry about that. What might take you out of this earth, but has no bearing on your soul and where you will spend eternal life at. But this is where your focus on. This is what your fear needs to be in. What?
Fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body.
Your fear needs to be in the Most High, who can kill both body and your soul. Where?
In hell.
Where?
In hell.
In hell. So if right now, if there's some terror that needs to be on, if there's some sense of urgency being on, it needs to be making sure that you're in right standing with the Most High. Shabbat shalom, Miss Bob. Good seeing you on with us tonight. You understand? Now, let's go to Isaiah 30. We're not going to take too long in the breakdowns tonight because we just want to give you guys some foundation, and we're going to go right into the Q&As because we want the people's questions answered here tonight. Shabbat shalom to one. Good seeing you on with us tonight. Isaiah 30, verses 1 through 2. Let's bring that out.
Woe to the rebellious children.
Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Most High. So, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of the Most High's children right now are taking counsel. They're seeking advice and they're seeking direction for their life, but they're not coming to the Most High. And the Most High calls those children that do that. He says what?
Woe to the rebellious children.
Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Most High. But now the Most High, go ahead. And some of you right now, that you when you heard that the so-called president has passed a stimulus bill, you feel that that's going to cover you. You feel that all these laws and implications that they're putting in right now is going to protect you. Go ahead.
But not of my spirit.
But not of my spirit. So many people right now are focusing on everything else and everybody else but the Most High. You're looking to the government, you're looking into the health department and the CDC and all these people to cover you and to keep you safe, but not the Most High. Go ahead.
They may add sin to sin.
Why is it? Why are they doing it? And ladies and gentlemen, some of you may not want to admit it, but the truth of the matter is the reason why a lot of people are not going to the Most High is because of you currently have a sin conscience. And so you're scared and you're afraid, and it's best to put your trust in someone who won't demand a standard and a morality in order to receive. Shabbat shalom, Princess Ty. Good seeing you over this tonight. So you don't want to run to the Most High. You don't want to go and ask him for the covering because you understand in order to receive his covering and his protection, there's a standard that comes along with that. You want to remain in sin. You want to remain in certain things. So you say, you know what? I'm going to rely on who? Verse 2.
That walk to go down into Egypt.
So walk to go down into Egypt. and have not asked of my mouth. You're sitting down at that in front of that television every day and allowing Egypt to tell you what you should and what you should not do. Go ahead.
To strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt.
And to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Sodom and Egypt, America. If you don't think Egypt is represented here in America, look on your dollar bill. That's just one of many places that you can find Egypt all over America. What else? Verse 3.
Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame.
And what's going to happen as a result of our brothers and sisters who are trusting the government to be your hope, what's going to happen?
Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame.
And the strength of Pharaoh going to end up bringing shame to you. Shabbat shalom, it's good seeing you on with us tonight. The strength that's about to be brought down is going to bring shame to you because you put your hope in that. What else?
And the trust in the shadow of Egypt.
And now, because you have so much trust in the government, this is the reason why our people are confused about what's going on. Right? We got to keep it moving, though. Let's go. Let's go to Jeremiah 9. And I know we had another one on there, but I'm going to end it with that because I want to get into these questions. So for anybody, like I said, who's just coming on with us, you have any questions, you can put those questions into the live and we will answer those in the order they come. Some of you have already submitted questions. We're about to get to those right now. I had some more breakdown scriptures, but the Spirit said, listen, let's get to the people's answers. Let's get to the people's questions. But we got one more thing we're going to need to give you. Let's go to Jeremiah 9. We need to give you this, and then we're about to dive in. If anybody has questions, go ahead and put those in, and we will get to them in the order in which they come. Jeremiah 9, and let's go to 23 to 26. One last thing that we want to make sure you guys know before we go in. Shabbat shalom, Ms. Kendall, good seeing you on with us tonight. Jeremiah 9, and let's look at verses 23 to 26. Watch this. Go ahead.
Thus says the Lord.
Thus says the Most High.
Let not the wise man glory in his wisdom.
Let not the wise man glory in his wisdom. Go ahead. Uh-huh. But what do you need to glory in? Right? This is the thing, ladies and gentlemen, that you need to be more concerned with. That you understand and know of the Most High. If you can't say for right now for sure, based on the Bible and not a religion, that you understand and know of the Most High, this is where your concern need to be. Not the amount of money that you have, not the amount of popularity that you have, not the amount of people that are standing with you and supporting you, but do you understand and know of the Most High? Go ahead. That the higher is the Lord. Go ahead. Uh-huh. Judgment and righteousness. Uh-huh. Go ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, the Most High said the day is going to come where I'm going to punish my children. The circumcised represents the children of Israel. With who? With the uncircumcised, that is the Gentiles. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is specifically for my Christian brothers and sisters. Many of you right now refuse to accept who you are. And that's fine. But you must understand, as we told you the other day, there's two entities in this world who will always see you as the children of Israel. The devil and the Most High. Regardless of what you feel. So you can call yourself black, you can call yourself African American, you can call yourself Christian, you can call yourself Democrat, you can call yourself a Republican, you can call yourself a Baptist, you can call yourself Amazon, Presbyterian, Kosher, Holiness, whatever it is that you want to call yourself. But the Most High and the devil will always see you as the 12 tribes of Israel. Regardless. You understand? So read that again for him, Deacon. Says what? Jeremiah 9:25. Watch this.
Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will punish all them which are circumcised with the uncircumcised.
Go ahead. Egypt and Judah. That's the so-called white man. Go ahead. That's the Palestinians. Go ahead. And that's the so-called people of Jordan. Go ahead. That's everybody. Go ahead. So all of the Gentiles who have not submitted to the Most High law, statute, commandments are uncircumcised. But go ahead.
And all the house of Israel are uncircumcised in the heart.
But the children of Israel may be circumcised in their male member, but they uncircumcised in their hearts. And ladies and gentlemen, it's a terrible, terrible thing to be chosen and still die with the sinners. So tonight, you have the opportunity before all of heaven and earth to ask whatever you may ask, to seek. Matter of fact, let's give them one more. Let's give them Matthew 7. Let's give them one more to encourage them to open up your hearts, to put your pride aside and get the answers from the Bible tonight. We love you. The Most High loves you more. And if you want to understand him, you want to see him, you will find him. Let's give him Matthew 7 and start there, verse 7. Watch this.
Ask and it shall be given you.
Ask and it shall be given unto you.
Seek and you shall find.
Seek and you shall find. Knock, ladies and gentlemen, and the door shall be opened unto you. Go ahead. Go ahead. It shall be open. So tonight you have the opportunity. Tonight, the Most High is waiting upon you. Now, let's dive in. Question 1 for tonight. Why are so many people attacking and ridiculing those who are weak in the faith? How could people be so heartless to mock people in their fears? That's question number 1 for tonight. Why are so many people attacking and ridiculing those who are weak in the faith? How could people be so heartless to mock people in their fear? Now, this came from a sister of mine, an Israelite sister, and she has been pleading the blood over her family and praying and interceding for our people to be awakened to who they are. And she finds it very odd that people in this time of uncertainty could laugh and ridicule those who don't know no better. And we at Better Day Ministries share those same feelings. It's not funny. When I cut on the TV and I see how people fighting over water and toilet paper, I see how people making rap songs, putting a so-called virus in it. When I see people, crying and fear and running them from people and saying, all these things, that I don't find that funny at all. It hurts my heart. So I don't know why people feel that way. So I want to put this out here tonight that if you're operating in that spirit, you're operating in error. If you find joy in entertainment for others suffering. So let's get Sirach 7, and let's get Romans the 15th chapter. Now, if many of my Christian brothers and sisters may be on with us tonight who don't have an apocrypha, get you a separate laptop, phone or tablet, go to Google, keep that handy because we're going to be in there tonight. This apocrypha is 14 books that the Protestants took out of the 1611 King James Bible. Why they took it out is a whole nother lesson itself. We don't have time to go into that. But if you go to Google and you put in these scriptures that we're going to give you tonight, you can be able to follow along with us because we tell people all the time, follow along. Don't ever just trust anyone. Make sure you see it for yourself. Okay? So you can go to Sirach, Sirach, chapter 7, verse 11, and you can get this verse right here that we're going to give you tonight. Keep that handy, that phone, that tablet, or laptop handy, because we're going to be in and out of the apocrypha. Sirach 7, let's get in verse 11.
Laugh no man to scorn in the bitterness of his soul.
Read that again.
Laugh no man to scorn in the bitterness of his soul.
Laugh no man to scorn in the bitterness of his soul. Go ahead. You see that? Because it's at the same time while you're laughing, the Most High can humble you and bring you down. So don't act as if you got to where you are on your own. Matter of fact, give me Proverbs 16 and 6. So I'm saying this right here specifically to my Israelite brothers and sisters. Because many of you right now act as if you born in the truth, just came out of the womb knowing everything. Before you read that Proverbs 16 and 6 again, give me that Sirach 7 and 11 again. Read that for me again.
Laugh no man to scorn in the bitterness of his soul.
Laugh no man to scorn in the bitterness of his soul. Go ahead. Which humbleth and exalteth. So the same ones you clowning and ridiculing today, you may have to end up going to for prayer in a matter of months. The great prophet said, be careful. Given that Proverbs 16 and 6. Watch this.
By mercy and truth, iniquity is purged.
So by mercy and truth, ladies and gentlemen, of the Most High, iniquity is purged. So it's the mercy of the Most High and the truth of the Most High word is the reason why you're not doing some of the things you used to do. Not yourself. It's the mercy and truth of the Most High. What else?
By the fear of the Lord, men depart from evil.
By the fear of the Most High, men depart from evil. So when you didn't have a fear of the Most High, you had no problem with doing evil. Don't ever forget that. Now, let's go to Romans 15. This is the posture in which we need to take with our brothers and sisters who are scared, who are afraid. This is the posture that we must take with the people who don't know what we know. All right, let's go to Romans 15. Let's go to Romans 15, and let's start there at verse 1.
We then that are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak.
Read that again.
We then that are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak.
So Paul said those who are strong should bear the infirmities of the weak. But what?
And not to please ourselves.
And not to please ourselves. Not can you get a hand clap. Not for you to get a like. Why? Verse 2.
Let every one of us please his neighbor for his good to edification.
You see that? You're supposed to be taking care of your brothers and sisters. You're supposed to be speaking life over your brothers and sisters. Why? Verse 3.
But even Hamashiach pleased not himself.
So who the world know to be Jesus Christ? Didn't come to please himself. But he did what?
But as it is written, the reproaches of them that reproach thee fell on me.
Everybody that was a sinner, all their sins fell on him. He didn't need the help. He didn't need the grace. But yet he came and died for a weak nation. He came to die for a group of sinners. He bared something that he didn't have to bear. So you who know better right now are called to bear for those who don't know no better as well. Watch this. Verse 4.
For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope.
Might have hope. And some of these verses right now that you got under your belt, these people don't know. So those who know these things, who have access to these things, who've learned these things, you're supposed to take what you know and your strength and help bring your brother up. Bring your sister up. Not laugh at them. Not clown them. But help them. Because what if who the world known to be Jesus Christ would have did that to us? Where would you be today? Watch this. Verse 5.
Now the Most High patience and consolation grant you to be like-minded, one toward another, according to Hamashiach Yeshua.
You see that? Verse 6.
That ye may with one mind and one mouth glorify the Most High.
Glorify the Most High.
Even the Father of our Lord Yeshua Hamashiach.
Y'all see that? Verse 7.
Wherefore receive ye one another as Hamashiach also received us to the glory of the Most High.
Y'all see that? So this is the posture, ladies and gentlemen, that we need to take in this time. Don't kick the people while they're down. Reach down and bring them out of the fire. Gone? All right, now let's go. Next question. Question number 2. I saw something about the name Corona breakdown as 666. Is this accurate? and what part does this play from a spiritual perspective? I'm going to read that again. It says, I saw about the name Corona breakdown at 666. Is this accurate, and what part does this play from a spiritual perspective? Now Deacon's going to show you guys a diagram. I knew this is where I knew where they got it from. And let's show them this picture right here, Deacon, where they're getting this from. And so, let's show Facebook so they can see it before I break this down. Okay. So as you guys can see there, when you break down the Corona, there's 6 letters in the Corona, in the name Corona, right? And then when you add up the numbers of all the letters in Corona, you get 66. So that's 666. This is the mark of the beast. Now, before I break this down, let's go to Revelation 13 and break this thing down. Let me explain to you what this means from a spiritual perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, what many of you guys don't know is that, okay, let's start with the fact that what's something that most of you already do know. Most of you already know the fact that the so-called coronavirus was on the back of Lysol cans for 30 plus years. Do you know why that is, ladies and gentlemen? This is why. Because what we know as the common cold are strands of the flu and strands of pneumonia is created by the coronavirus, specifically the flu and the cold, what they call the common cold. So these things are caused by what they call a coronavirus. This is why Lysol had this on there, because it killed those viruses in the air and on surfaces to prevent people from getting the flu and common colds. If you notice, ladies and gentlemen, for the last 3 to 4 months, you notice that no one is talking about the flu anymore. You notice that no one is talking about the common cold. Things that always brought problems to the elderly and people who had problems with their respiratory or other health issues, because it could kill you. So, ladies and gentlemen, not understanding these things is the reason why this mass hysteria is happening. So all of these people that they're telling you Shabbat Shalom, Lisa, good seeing you on with us tonight. So all of these people, ladies and gentlemen, that they're telling you are testing positive for this, what they're not telling you, ladies and gentlemen, one, if you have a common cold, you have the coronavirus. If you have the flu, you have the coronavirus. If you've taken a flu shot, you have the coronavirus. So they're not telling you guys that. That's the thing they're not telling you. You've already got these things in you, okay? Also, what they're not bringing out is, ladies and gentlemen, what time of season this is. It's the springtime. So when you have the pollen in the air, you have the people with allergies. All of these symptoms that they so-called tell you that are part of these things, a so-called corona, are things that people with allergies deal with every year. Anyone with a common cold will deal with. Anyone with the flu will deal with. So notice, they're not saying any of these basic things anymore. All you're hearing is corona. And that's for a reason, to spread the pandemic and fear. Okay? Now, what does this have to do with from a spiritual perspective? Let's go to Revelation 13. Let me explain. Number one, before a couple of months ago, no one in their mama ever heard of the word social distancing. Notice how now that's on the tongue of everyone. They would tell us right now that me and Deep, we're not practicing social distancing. So, me and Deep was about to be funny, and we was going to, we was gonna come on and have him in the box up at the top and tell you we was practicing social distancing just for a joke, but we ain't got time for that. Right? This is madness. So, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why you're hearing social distance, the reason why you're having people saying be in your house, the reason why they are pumping in your heads of stay home and protect each other is because, ladies and gentlemen, they're drawing the lines in the sand. Before we go to Revelation 13, go to Matthew 24. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it, but I want to break this down just real quick. You got to see what's going on right now. They're playing games with this, ladies and gentlemen. This is a beta test. Okay? This is a beta test. And unless you guys know what's going on, when the real stuff comes, you're going to be still here in America. Okay? This is the game they're playing. Right? Let me show you what I mean here. Let's go to Matthew 24. Let me prove through the scripts that what I'm saying is actually what's going down. Matthew 24. Watch this. Give me Matthew 24:10. Watch this.
And then many shall be offended.
Many shall be offended.
And shall betray one another.
And shall betray one another.
And shall hate one another.
So right now, ladies and gentlemen, you got people, believe it or not, who are calling the police departments if they ride around and they see people gather. You got people right now, right, who are going live and saying that people who are having services and was businesses still open, they was calling the police and saying these people are not keeping us safe. You never used the word social distance before a couple of days ago, and now that's the only thing you're talking about. All of a sudden, every news program, nobody won't sit beside each other. They got extended microphones so they can interview people from a distance. Ladies and gentlemen, how did they just get all of this in their minds? Because these things are coming down from the top. So when people kept going on with their lives and no one was falling out in the streets like they were telling you they was doing, now they're doing the mandatory shutdowns in order for the people to say, well, this got to be serious because they're shutting everything down. Yet none of you know anyone with it. You can't have a pandemic if you don't know anyone with it. That's the exact opposite of a pandemic. Then they said, we don't have a lot of tests. But in the same news program, they'll tell you positive tests are going up. Which one is it? Think. So what this is, ladies and gentlemen, is what they're doing as a test to usher in. Because once it's time, the people are going to voluntarily give away all of their rights to be protected. Now, let me show you. Let's go to Revelation 13. Now, and I mean this is no disrespect to all these guys out here talking about this, mathematics and 666 and 6 electrons and 6 protons. These guys are full of madness, man. Don't ever listen to these guys. Don't allow anyone to break down the Bible concepts with no Bible. Okay, let me show you what this means. Revelation 13. We're gonna do this real quick. We're gonna move on. But I wanted to just bring some results and things because people are afraid, and without this proper information, you're not gonna know. You understand? You're not gonna know. Revelation 13. And let's start at verse 9. Watch this.
If any man have an ear, let him hear.
So if you have an ear, ladies and gentlemen, here, watch this. Verse 10.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
Who brought you into captivity? How did you get here? In slave ships. Who was steering those ships? So what you must understand, ladies and gentlemen, whether you want to believe it or not, everything that is being done in this world by the government powers is for the children of Israel to be destroyed. And as I said in the outset, you can continue to call yourself Black, African American, you can say you're a Christian, you're Baptist, whatever you want to call yourself. But the two entities that will always see you for who you are is the Most High and Satan. And so those powers who are following Satan know good and well, read it again, Revelation 3:13 and 10, watch this.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
Mm-hmm.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
Must be killed with the sword. How did America take over this land? With the sword. What else?
It is the patience and the faith of the saints.
That's how we have faith and patience. Because we know that the Most High is coming for us. We understand this fully. So for all my Christian brothers and sisters who are trying to apply 2 Chronicles 7 and 14 to America, you're wasting your time. All of you are gathering and praying for this country, you're wasting your time. It's over. And either you get on the side of the Most High or you go down with the ship. They know this. The powers that be are imploding the government, the country, on purpose to send all power back for Rome. So while you're praying for political leaders, these guys are making the necessary measures for your demise on purpose. Watch this. Verse 11.
And I beheld another beast coming about the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And he had two horns like a lamb and spake as a dragon.
So he comes across, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, we coming to the third world countries, and we want to bring you supplies, and we want to bring you health, and we want to give you some education. Take this vaccine. Next thing you know, man, there's Ebola all over Africa. We want to help it come to get you, so you don't have to be under this terrible dictatorship. Next thing you know, country falls. We want to make sure that you don't get sick, so we're telling you to stay in your homes, practice social distance. Next thing you know, this is going to be your way of life. You got to understand who you're dealing with here. Watch this. Verse 12.
And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him.
Before him, because ladies and gentlemen, America comes from Rome. France, England, Great Britain, and Spain are the 3 horns of the 10 horns in which America was built. Watch this. Go ahead.
He causeth the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast.
To worship what?
Worship the first beast.
How did he do that? Go ahead, read the rest. Let's read that part.
Whose deadly wound was healed.
So what was the religion created by the Romans, the Roman Catholic Church? Who is largely responsible, ladies and gentlemen, for spreading Christianity around the world now? America. And they're causing the whole entire world to what they call missionary work to worship the beast. You see that? So you say, well, I ain't no Roman Catholic, I'm a Protestant. Same thing. Catholicism, ladies and newsflash. Catholicism and Protestant Reformation is even Stevens with Republican and Democrat. Same thing. So you saw Christian pastors attacking Catholicism, but you got your Sunday service from Catholicism. You were taught that the laws was done away because of Catholicism. You were taught that Jesus was white because of Catholicism. You celebrate Christmas and Easter because of Catholicism. Republican, Democrat. Same thing. So you can say that you're not that all you want. You're still the same thing. You're still telling people to come to church on Sunday. You're still telling people don't keep the holidays. You're still telling people don't follow the law. Same thing the Catholicism started. And what did Trump just say the other day? The same thing we told you he was going to say 3 weeks ago, did we not? Go check the tapes. We told you They don't want you to gather now, but as soon as Easter comes, everything is going to go back to normal. What is Trump pushing now? Y'all got to understand, man. It's already written. That's why we're not called God. Watch this. Watch this. Verse 13.
And he doeth great wonders.
And he do great wonders.
So that he maketh a fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
This is nuclear weapons. Who was the first person to shut off a nuclear weapon? What they don't tell you, ladies and gentlemen, over there in over what they call the Middle East, America been bombing and bombing and bombing for 20 years, dropping fire out the air of the boys over there, slaughtered them. And you thought these terrorist people just showed up for no reason. They've been slaughtering these people for decades, causing great wonders, making fire come out of the sky. John couldn't, he was looking, he didn't have no way of knowing what he was seeing. Watch this. Verse 14.
And deceived them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles.
And deceived them because he make everyone believe that he's serving the Most High. Right? Go ahead.
Which he had power to do in the sight of the beast.
In the sight of the beast. Go ahead.
Saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live.
Y'all see that? Because Rome was destroyed. So a lot of people think that Rome don't exist no more. Yet the European nations are coming back every day. That's why they have one currency over there now. They're operating as one nation. That's the same way they did before. That deadly hill, that deadly wound that destroyed Rome first is now coming back. This is why America must go. Because all the power, all the resources going back. You thought it was a coincidence, ladies and gentlemen, that all these CEOs who made all these millions and millions and billions of dollars are now stepping down? Because they're leaving. Now it's time to fund the one world over. See that? They've made the cash now. Now it's time to go out the back door with the money back. Watch this. Verse 15.
And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. That the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
That's coming. Everybody who don't want worship that one world religion, we're going to die if you're still here. That's why Amos 9 and 10 says, read that for me, T. Watch this. Ladies and gentlemen, your Walmarts that are closing down in your areas are not closing down for no reason. These will be the FEMA camps that you'll be soon ushered into. Amos 9 and 10, watch this.
All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword.
Well, how they going to die by the sword, D?
Which say the evil shall not overtake.
The evil shall not overtake us.
Nor prevent us.
See that? So why a lot of our brothers and sisters going to be still here talking about that God going to turn it around, that Jesus is going to work it out? They're going to, and with this time when they come, ladies and gentlemen, they're here to stay. And this is what they're ushering in. Verse 16.
And he causeth all, both small and great.
Small and great.
Rich and poor.
Rich and poor.
Free and bond.
Free and those that's in jail. Go ahead.
To receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. That no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name.
See that? What was one of the things that they was pushing? Well, man, people out here, passing this money. People can catch that corona from it. You thought that just came into your vernacular for nothing, right? No, that was on purpose. You add people being afraid to catch the disease, scared to have cash, with people fearing that someone could bring them sickness if they don't practice social distances, plus people losing their jobs, add all that in a pot, you bring the next sickness, and people say, hey, take this mark. If you go check it, if you think I'm playing, Bill Gates said he's coming up with a system that will be able to read whether or not you've taken the vaccine or not. So you guys that are so excited about this stimulus check that's coming, you better be happy, because the next stimulus check that comes in the future, you won't get it without a vaccine. This is all leading to the mark. All of the fears that they're pushing on people right now is so that now, when the next time when they come, you won't be afraid. You won't be mad. You won't be upset. You will run to your local office, stick your arm out, and say, mark me. Seen a Christian pastor the other day, had a video out telling his church, it's okay to take the mark. What do you think they're saying these things for, ladies and gentlemen? It's coming. This is what all of this is for. Watch this. Verse 18.
Here is wisdom.
Here's the wisdom.
Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
Now show it to him again. After all that breakdown, now show it to him again. Y'all see that? This ain't no game out here, y'all. This ain't a game. Better come back to the Most High. Now, that was just a quick version of breaking that down. We could have made that a whole lot more complex, but we just wanted to give it to you real quick. But they ain't playing no games, ladies and gentlemen. And it's time for you to come home to the Most High. Now, like I said, for those who have questions, you can ask questions. We got some more coming. So we're going to go to the next question. All right. People are always saying that the black man is God. They use Psalms 82 and 6 to back this claim. Is this interpretation accurate? I'll read that again. People are always saying that the black man is God. They use Psalms 82 and 6 to back up this claim. Is their interpretation accurate? And the simple answer is Oprah Winfrey. No. For those who know me, they know what that meant. Sabbath, so we ain't going into that. Right? Ladies and gentlemen, let's go to Psalms 82 and 6 first. Let's read it first. And then we're going to break that down and give you the understanding of what that's actually talking about. Okay. The black man want to be everything who they are instead of who they really is. So let's go to Psalms 82 and 6. I'm going to give you the understanding, the precept to understand it. Then I'm going to come back to Psalms 82 and break this down. Right? All praise to the Most High, Minister Stone. All praise to the Most High. And I think the Most High, how he been using you too. You've been putting this thing down the last couple of days in a very simple format for the people to hear, exhorting the people. Continue to let the Most High use you, Minister Stone. Psalms 82 and verse 6. Let's get that verse where they're talking about.
I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High.
So that's the verse that even people who don't even follow the Bible, they like to go and pull that out and say the black man is the son of God. Black man is God's. Okay. So let me go to you, give me a precept. Let's go to Job 1 and show you who that was talking to. Get Job 1 and get Genesis 6. And let's show you what this was talking about. Okay. Then I'm going to break down Psalms 82 real quick and explain to you what this is actually talking about. So let's go. Matter of fact, let's go to Genesis 6 first and then get Job 1. This is not talking about people, ladies and gentlemen. It's talking about angels. Okay. Let's go this real quick. It don't take long for this. When I be hearing these Kemet guys and these these Hotep guys and all this stuff talking about we gods, I just be laughing, man. Because you want to be everything but who you are. God body. Nah. Genesis 6. And we're going to do this real quick. Genesis 6 and start at verse 1, just so it can make it be clear.
And it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them.
So notice right here, we're talking about people now, right? Right, go ahead, verse 2.
And the sons of God.
That is who?
The sons of God.
Right.
Saw the daughters of men.
Saw the who?
The daughters of men.
That's clear right there that they ain't talking about people. Okay? The sons of God saw what?
The daughters of men.
Right.
And they were fair, and they took their wives of all which they took.
You see that? So right there, that makes it clear that the sons of God couldn't have been people because they would have said people seeing daughters of men. Okay? Wouldn't need to say that. Further explanation. Let's go to Job 1. I'll show you who these sons of God are. This is not talking about men. These are talking about angels. Before Hamashiach, who the world known to be Jesus Christ, came, the angels were known as sons of God. Okay? Okay. So let's go to Job 1, verse 6. Watch this. Let's go to Job 1, verse 6.
Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord.
So what people you never known that went to heaven? See that? Who else? Who else was there?
And Satan came also along them.
See that?
Among them.
So this is what happened. The sons of God will have to go to the Most High throne every day and present and tell what they have done. And this is before Yeshua HaMashiach, who the world known to be Jesus Christ, shed his blood and left and kept Satan from being the accuser. When you go to Revelation 12, it tells you that Satan can no longer come no more. He was thrown out. He can't come no more. So that's why he's dwelling on earth right now. He's not in hell as if they show you on the cartoons in some hell with the pitchfork. No, he's walking around on earth being as God to all the governments of this earth because that's their God. Now, let's go back to Psalms 82 and explain that so you can see what this is actually talking about and not talking about the black man as God. Psalms 82. Start at verse 1.
The Most High standeth in congregation of the mighty. He judges among the gods.
Y'all see that? Y'all see that? That's why they call him the Lord of hosts. He's in heaven. This is taking place in heaven right now. In the congregation of the mighty, what? He judgeth among the gods. Watch this, verse 2.
How long was judge the persons of the wicked?
So he was talking to the angels who was teaching man wicked stuff. These 70 angels that went down with Satan, right? He was like, how long are you going to continue to do this? Verse 3.
Defend the poor and fatherless.
Right.
Do justice to the afflicted and needy.
This is what you were supposed to be doing. I sent you down there to help out my people. You're doing the exact opposite, angels. Watch this, verse 4.
Deliver the poor and needy.
Right.
Rid them out of the hands of the
and
wicked.
rid them out of the hands of the wicked. Verse 5.
They know not neither will they understand.
Right.
They walk in the darkness of the foundations of the earth.
Go ahead.
I said we are gods, and all of you are children of the Most
I
High.
say you were gods and you're children of the Most High, but look at what the answer for it is simple right here in verse 7. Watch this. Read it again. Read it again. See that? So, ladies and gentlemen, black man is not a god. We, through the death of the Son of God, through the Holy Spirit and his blood, become sons of God. But before that, we were not. We're sons of God, son of the Most High. We're not gods. And let's back that up even more. Let's go to Psalms 8. Back that up even more. Because the angels was talking to the Most High about man. Watch this. Psalms 8. And start at verse 4. Watch this.
What is man that thou art mindful of him?
This is the angels that was talking to the Most High. He said, read that again. He says, what?
What is man that thou art mindful of him?
Uh-huh.
And the Son of Man.
And the what?
And the Son of
And
Man
the Son of Man.
that thou visitest him.
Mm-hmm.
But he has made him a little more than the angels.
He made him what?
A little more than the angels.
Uh-huh.
And has crowned him with glory and honor.
See that? You see that? So, ladies and gentlemen, don't let people come to you with this stuff, man. They just arrogant and prideful, and they just want to hype themselves up. The Most High is the only one you need to be concerned with. And because everybody trying to see themselves as gods, they're going to die just like these fallen gods did, in the same manner, in the pits of hell. You got another one? Okay. If you come to it, we'll go back to it. All right, Juice Man got a question. Young Juice, this is a teenager, ladies and gentlemen. Young teenager got one. He says, why do we have to eat unleavened bread for a week? What does that symbolize? Great question. Great question. So let's go to Exodus 12, and then let's go to 1 Corinthians 5. These young boys, man, they on fire, man. Great question. Let's go to Exodus 12. And then you get 1 Corinthians 5. Okay. We're going to just go straight to it. And if anybody wants the full breakdown of this, you can watch the lesson that we did Tuesday. Anything weighted down cannot rise. We had a problem. They cut our live off. So I was just able to post part 2 of it this morning. So you go check out the thing from Tuesday, and then you can watch part 2 from what we posted this morning. But on Exodus 12, and let's just go straight to it, Deke. 18 and 19.
And in the first month of the 14th day of the month,
matter of fact, let me let's go to verse 11. Go to 10 and 11 so they can see why they had to do it in haste.
And you shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remaineth of it until the morning ye shall burn with fire. And thus shall ye eat it with your loins girded, and your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand. And you shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover.
So, ladies and gentlemen, what was going on was the Most High said, listen, you eat this thing, you go and have your shoes ready. As soon as that sun come up and I done sent my death angel to pass, you got to get out of there because they coming. So they didn't have time to put the yeast in there for their bread to rise. They had to take that bread, they had to eat it as it was. That's what the yeast is for. Now go to verse 18.
In the first month of the 14th day.
That's like it started 17.
And ye shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for in this selfsame day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall ye observe this day in your generations by an ordinance forever.
For how long?
Forever.
How long?
Forever.
So he told us there. He told our ancestors right there that you had to observe this feast of unleavened bread forever. Verse 18.
In the first month of the 14th day of the month at evening, ye shall eat unleavened bread until the 20th day of the month at evening.
So so those who are with us know that on March the 7th sundown is when we celebrated New Year. You count 14 days, right? You count 14 days, and then you notice that was March 20th sundown. That's when we started the Passover at evening, right? So you start there, and until tomorrow sundown, which will be the 21st day of sundown, we cannot eat unleavened bread. Okay? We've been doing that all week long. Go ahead, verse 19.
7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses. For whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger,
whether he be a Gentile,
or born in the land.
All Israelite. Whoever served the Most High, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you have to keep that ordinance. Now, let's go to 1 Corinthians 5, and we're going to answer the second part of that is what does the leaven represent? 1 Corinthians 5. Now, if you read this entire question here, this entire chapter here, you will find that Paul was getting on the church of Corinthians because they had sin in the church and they wasn't dealing with it. So this whole idea of what you see in the Christian church now, you can't judge me and you can't judge another person. This is in there because there is no law. It wouldn't be that way if the law was getting read every week. The law judges. It ain't a person judge you. It's the law of the Most High. So back then, when we was following the law, statutes, commandments, if someone was sinning, it went three ways. Someone who was aware of the sin would go to that brother alone, go to that sister alone. Hey, yo, you gotta, what's going on? Is there anything I can do to help you? You gotta put this away, right? We let some time go by. It's still between that person and you, right? If some time go by and they don't change, then you go get you 2 or 3 witnesses. You come back to that same person alone, and you talk to that person like, listen, this is not fitting for your life. Anything we can do, you pray with them, you try to help them out. You let some time go by. This person still remains in that sin. You go to the elders of the church. Then the elders bring this person before the church and like, listen, this is not what it is. Church hover around them, pray, whatever they can do. Time go by, they don't change. You're out of the church. 1 Corinthians 5 break this down. We don't see this being practiced no more in the church because there is no law, so everybody's doing whatever they want to do. So Paul breaks this down and says, listen, you can't have sin among you. So let's go straight to it. Why you got to throw him out of church? Verse 5.
To deliver such a one unto Satan for the destruction of the flesh.
So what happens is you don't keep them out of the church because you're perfect and you're not, the way they try to explain it off today. No, you put them from up under the cover and the protection of the family because the church is a family. So you let them outside of the church, outside of their protection and covering. So now, in the midst of their sin, they don't have nobody praying for them. They don't have nobody covering them because you can't walk in wickedness and be protected by the Most High. There will come problems. So when they go outside of that covering and they have to deal with their stuff on their own, Satan is dealing with them and he's destroying the flesh. Go ahead. You see that? So now they realize, like, man, I can't live this way. This is destroying me. I'm coming back to the church to repent. See how that works? But the reason why people don't change no more, because no sin is ever addressed at all. Watch this. Verse 6.
Your glorying is not good. Know ye not that a little leaven leavens the whole lump?
So that leaven, ladies and gentlemen, now in a spiritual matter, when we keep it the Feast of Unleavened Bread now, represents sin. That sin that rises up in us and destroys us. Watch this, verse 7.
Purge out therefore the old leaven.
So we got to purge therefore out the old leaven, the old sin.
That ye may be a new lump.
That's right. 2 Corinthians 5:17 says, those that are in Christ are a new creature. Old things pass away, behold, all things become new. Go ahead.
As ye are unleavened.
As ye are unleavened. Notice that unleavened means now you're without the sin. Go ahead. He is our what? He is our what? He is our Passover. Go ahead. Is sacrificed for us. Verse 8.
Therefore, let us keep the feast.
Therefore, let us keep the feast. And I'm not going to go into this right now because we got a question dealing with that in a minute. But I just want to point that out that he said, keep the feast. Go ahead.
Not with leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with unleavened bread of sincerity and truth.
See that? So unleavened right now represents, the leaven represents sin now. And we have to get these things out of our life. And this is what we've been talking about amongst ourselves, amongst Better Day throughout this week. Okay? Great question, Juice. I've got another one in here. Let's see. I think you go into there, read that. We got another question. And ladies and gentlemen, like I said, we got a lot of questions, but you can ask questions as well. No problem. We'll stop our question that we got and we answer the questions live, then we'll go back to the ones that submitted.
Can you explain Exodus 20:4 in its entirety and give example of some graven images and idols that people of the world may unknowingly have in their homes, church, etc.?
Great question. Great question. Let's go to Exodus 20. Go to Exodus 20. let's break this out. Exodus 20, verse 4. Let's read that.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth.
Now, so let's read that first part again.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above.
Now, stop there. Let's go to Romans 8 and 34. Let's get your first image. Let's go to Romans 8 and 34. Romans 8, verse 34.
Who is he that condemneth? Is it Hamashiach that died? Yea, rather that is risen again, who is even at the right hand of the Most High, who also maketh intercession for us.
So if you have an image of who the world know to be Jesus Christ, whether he be white, which is wrong, whether he be black, which is right, in your home, that is a graven image. May the Most High continue to smile down upon you, Minister Stone. May your blessing, may your prayer continue to reach multiple people around this earth. Shalom. Rakadah. So if you have an image of who the world know to be Jesus Christ, that is a graven image. You need to take it down immediately. The so-called cross, what Christianity sees as a symbol of the cross, is not a symbol of the cross. It is a symbol of the god Tammuz. That is also an image that people pray to. We need to take it down immediately. Okay? For those who are using Christmas trees during Christmas, graven image. Let me get that Jeremiah 10. Okay? And just for anyone, well, we know historically, we know that the Roman crucifix, it was not shaped in a cross. We know that it went as a really like a T. But let's just say, for example, that he was on a cross, what they call a cross-shaped crucifix. You're still never supposed to make it an image that you worship or pray to, or wear, or tattoo it on your body. You understand? Well, I say goes, Jeremiah 10. This is for the Christmas tree. Jeremiah 10, 1-3.
Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
O house of Israel, go ahead.
Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen.
Learn not the way of the Gentiles. Ladies and gentlemen, don't nobody put on no Christmas tree. And first of all, the name of the holiday is not Christmas in the first place. It's Saturnalia. It's a worship of the god Saturn. Okay. The Romans were doing that hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years before who the world known to be Jesus Christ was born. And you're going to find out then in a minute that where they included pagan festivals into the religion to order for it to serve their gods. You're going to find out one particular one in a minute. But that's the same thing they did with Saturnalia, aka Christmas. Okay? That's nothing to do with the Most High. Nothing to do with Yeshua. Nothing to do with the world, who the world ought to be Jesus Christ. You understand? Go ahead.
And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them.
Right.
For the custom of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workman with the axe.
So they go and take a tree out of the forest. Who does that? When did they do that? Don't want they know the time of Christmas. What else did they do?
They deck it with silver and with gold.
They deck it with silver and gold. Ladies and gentlemen, they was doing these things. This is right here is written 500 plus years for the birth of who you know to be Jesus Christ. What part does that play in him if it was being done before him? The Gentiles who didn't honor him at all. So if you have pictures, if you have a cross, if you have a Christmas tree, anything, any image that you deem holy, got to get it out of there. All of them are graven images and wicked. And you should never put anything to them. It becomes idols. You're not supposed to do them. So that goes for the people who know that who the world know to be Jesus Christ is really what they call a black man. You ain't supposed to have images of that him. No way, no how. Great question. Now, let's go to something else. Next question. Let's see. Let's switch it up. Let's go to a different topic. We're going to come back to some things. Let's switch it up a little bit and go to something new. It says, I have a friend that I believe that truly loves the Most High and is very knowledgeable of the Bible. But I believe his hatred for Esau is the so-called white man, is going to ultimately destroy him. What precepts could you share with him to lead him away from his anger? To read that again. I have a friend that I believe that truly loves the Most High and is very knowledgeable of the Bible. But I believe his hatred for Esau is going to ultimately destroy him. What precepts could share with him to lead him away from his anger? Well, number one, ladies and gentlemen, and I know we talked about this before. We call it the 5 stages of the truth. And we talked about the fact that the 5 stages of the truth is number one, denial, where someone brings the truth to you that we're not black, that you're not African American, that you're from the tribe of Judah, from the nation of Israel, right? And people deny it. That's the first stage. The second stage is the wild stage. Wild stage is not when information, not when someone persuades you, but when the Holy Spirit reveals to you that we are the children of Israel. When the Holy Spirit reveals it to you, you go on what we call the wild stage, where you're just completely blown away as the Spirit reveals to you and show you who you are through the scriptures. Third stage is what we call the anger stage, because once your eyes are opening, then you start seeing all of the things that the Gentiles did to destroy you, and it makes you angry. We hope that you move from the anger stage to the 4th stage, which can go vary between the angry stage and the 5th stage, which is the love stage. The debate stage is when you're looking to prove you're right from an anger perspective or a love perspective. And ultimately, we hope all reaches the 5th stage when you operate in the love stage. And everything you do say is because of the spirit of love. And the order for you to get to that 5th stage is to have the understanding that no man enslaved you, no man destroyed you, no man is responsible for what happened to you but the Most High. And it takes our people a lot of time to get there. So let's go through this. We can go a lot of scriptures, but I'm going to go through this really quick. Let's go to Luke 12, because I want to give it specific to what the brother asked for his mans. So let's go to Luke 12. And my brother, make sure you write these scriptures down. Give it to him in the way that we give it to you, is that way you can break this thing down for him. Let's go to Luke 12. We're going to precept out of here a few times, so make sure you get these precepts. Let's go to Luke 12, and we're going to look at verses 42 through 48. Luke 12, 42 through 48. Watch this. Let's start at verse 42.
And the Lord said, who then is that faithful and wise steward, whom his Lord shall make ruler over his household, to give them their portion of meat in due season?
So he said, listen, Yeshua said, hey, listen, who is the guy that's going to be the wise servant, that's going to be ready for me to give them their reward when I come back? Watch this, verse 43.
Blessed is that servant whom the Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing.
So he said, this is the one that this is the man that's blessed, is when I come back, I will find him doing. Now, this is the problem, that most people that's even in the truth don't know the gospel of who the world know to be Jesus Christ. They don't know his will. They operate under their anger, so they operate from the perspective of what they want to. Let's see what the real gospel of Yeshua is. Let's go to Isaiah 49:6. So when he comes back, everyone not doing this will receive what we will go through in a minute. Okay. So we don't need to go around the bush. This is the gospel. This is what Yeshua came to do. You're not doing this. We're going to show you in a minute what's going to happen to those who are not. Isaiah 49:6. Watch this.
And he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob.
So his servants will be doing what?
To raise up the tribes of Jacob.
Will be raising up the tribes of Jacob. So once you raise up and wake up the ones who need woke up, then you will preserve them. What else has he told us to be doing?
I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles.
And I will also give you as a light to the Gentiles. Why? So we may bring salvation to the whole earth. So you need to tell your brother that this is what Yeshua said. And if you're still mad at Esau, you're not sharing the truth with him. If he comes back and you're mad and you're cussing white people out on the corner, let's go back to Luke 12, verse 44. So, hold on, Slaki. So the ones who are doing what we just read to you in Isaiah 49:6, this is what he will say in verse 44.
So the truth I say unto you, that he will make him ruler over all that he has.
That's what's going to happen for those who are doing that. But, verse 45.
And if that servant say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, and shall begin to beat the manservants.
Beat who?
The menservants.
Beat who?
The menservants and the maid. And to eat and drink and to be drunken.
Now, the question is, who is the manservants and the maidens? That's the question. Let's go to Isaiah 14. See, this is what our people don't understand. Before you read Isaiah 14, D, read that again. Verse 45.
What if that servant say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, and shall begin to beat the menservants.
Beat the menservants and maidens. Now, go back. Now go to Isaiah 14, and let's find out who these people are. Watch this, D.
For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob.
He will have mercy on Jacob.
And will yet choose
Israel. Go ahead. And who? That's the Gentiles. And shall cleave to the house of Israel. Go ahead. Go ahead. As what? For servants and handmaids. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're disrespecting and cussing out the Gentiles, they can't cleave. That's why precept must be upon precept. Because you didn't know who the manservants and maidens were. These are the Gentiles. Know how I believe that? Know how I know that? Go back to Isaiah 49. Watch this. Go back to Isaiah 49. See, once you are the light unto them, this is what they will do. Back to Isaiah 49. Watch this. Watch this. Yeah. Verse 23. Watch this.
And kings shall be thy nurses.
No. Start at verse 22. Watch this.
And thus said the Lord God, behold, I will lift up my hand to the Gentiles.
I will lift my hands up to the Gentiles. Go ahead.
And set my son to
Y'all see that? Male servants and maidens. What else?
And kings shall be thy nursing fathers, and their queens thy nursing mothers. They shall bow down to thee with their face toward the earth, and lift up the dust off their feet. And thou shalt know that I am the Lord, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me.
So when you're doing these things to the Gentiles, You're operating in the exact opposite manner in which you were told to act. See that? And what's going to happen to those who do their own thing? Back to Luke 12. Shalom, Tyree, good seeing you on with us tonight. Back to Luke 12. So for the ones who don't want to rock with Gentiles, who don't want to speak to Gentiles, don't want to give the gospel to Gentiles, don't want to love the Gentiles, don't want to dwell peacefully among the Gentiles, this is what will happen to you. Verse 47.
And that servant which
40, yeah, go ahead. It's like verse 46.
the Lord of that servant will come in a day when he looketh not for him, and an hour when he is not aware.
So you're going to be out there talking big. You're going to be on social media talking reckless because everybody's feeling it, and he's going to come and will cut him to sunder. What else?
And will appoint him his portion with the unbelievers.
He's going to be over there with the rest of the Gentiles that you said couldn't make it. Why? Verse 47.
And that servant which knew his Lord's will and prepared not himself.
So the ones who knew the truth, but said, I'm going to do my own thing because I'm mad, what? Shall be beat with many stripes. This is for my Christian brothers and sisters. Next verse.
He that will not and did commit things worthy of stripes shall be beaten with few stripes. For unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall be much required.
So you didn't know that you was chosen. You thought you were supposed to be a Christian, but the truth was brought to you, and you rejected it. So you will be beat with fewer stripes. Still beat. This is the real Jesus Christ of the Bible, ladies and gentlemen. When he comes back, he's not playing. This is why you need to make a decision now. You understand? Now, what's that? That's 48, right? Yeah. Give me one more. Get the rest of that. Uh-huh. For unto
few stripes. For unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall much require. And to whom men have committed much, of him they will ask the more.
You were commanded to wake up the children of Israel, my Christian brothers and sisters. If you choose not to do that, that doesn't take away what you were commanded to do. If you reject this calling, if you reject your heritage and identity, that's on you. It's up to you. Now, Hebrews 12, 14 and 15. And you can give this to them as well. Hebrews 12, 14 and 15. So y'all better get over this Esau stuff, man. Better get past it. Esau ain't got nothing to do with where you at. Most High did this to us. It's time to move on. Isaiah 12, verse 14 and 15.
Follow peace with all men.
Follow peace just with Israelites.
Follow peace with all men.
Now follow peace just with those who are in your camp.
Follow peace with all men.
Follow peace with people who look like you.
Follow peace with all men.
And
holiness, without which no man shall see the Lord.
You won't see the Most High if you don't. Plain and simple. Verse 15.
Looking diligently, lest any man fall of the grace of the Most High.
So you end up falling from the grace of the Most High and do what?
Lest any root of bitterness spring up, trouble you, and thereby many be defiled.
And many are defiled. Don't let that root of bitterness come up in you and defile you and keep you from the Most High in fringes and your hair wrapped. It's terrible to be in hell in fringes. Okay? Now, anyone else has any questions? If not, we're going to continue on with the ones that we have submitted. For those who are just coming on with us, we're doing a Q&A tonight. We're just asking all questions that's being asked, submitted. But if any more have any questions, we will get to those questions as well. Now, let's see here. Good question. Thank you for taking my question. I'm aware that according to the prophecies, America and the world as a whole will soon be judged by the Most High. But should we be boasting and praying for this day to come soon? Why does it seem as if so many people are excited about the death of so many? It's a very good question that we ask ourselves that all the time. I'm reading this again. Thank you for taking my question. I'm aware that according to the prophecies, America and the world as a whole will soon be judged by the Most High. But should we be boasting and praying for this day to come soon? Why does it seem as if so many people are excited about the death of so many? And the sister that asked this, I told her the same thing. I don't know. But I think a lot of people are operating in from a perspective in which they just completely done lost sight of what's going on. And it's maybe it's because they don't operate from Isaiah 49:6. Now we understand, ladies and gentlemen, that the sooner America and Rome falls, the sooner our kingdom comes. We are aware of that. But I am fully aware that the majority of our people who claim that they're ready are not ready. We understand that we got to get out of here. And if what happened, what has been going on the last couple of weeks would have been the reality, no, we're still here. So it's going to be a lot of death of the sake of people who know the truth. We know some of us may have to be martyred. We understand that. But we must do what we need to do, prepare our descendants that are coming, and to wake up as many people as we can. So I'm not speaking against anyone who doing these things, whatever they're doing in different places. What the Most High has told us a better day, we're not praying for the downfall of America. We're praying for the wake up of our people as America goes down. Because you don't need to, the Most High don't need your prayers for something that was already written. This is over. Okay, you know what I'm saying? This is over. So let's spend this time waking up our people. But let's deal with this. Let's go to Amos 5 and get Luke 9. For all these people who was talking about they praying for it and they just can't wait, that sounds real good on social media. It sounds real good. Okay. But, maybe you are, but I'm just not. And I want to see my family saved. I want to see my community saved. I want to see as many people that we can get out of this fire as we can. And that's just what we're doing. If you're good with your church or your camp or your ministry or whatever, you think y'all good, then all praise. But we're not. And we're not satisfied until the Most High said this is the last one and then it's got to go. We're going to get every soul, every man, woman, boy, and girl that we can until the end. That's the focus. Isaiah 49:6. I can't speak for everybody else doing. Isaiah 5 and Luke 9. Let's start. I mean 5. And let's start at verse 18.
Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord.
Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. So everybody keeps saying, I'm ready for Masha to come back. And let me say this. I've said this once. I said this twice. And I say this again. Shabbat Shalom, Mora. Good seeing you on with us tonight. I say this 1,000 times. My Christian brothers and sisters, there will not be a rapture. The world was deceived. There will not be a rapture. Jesus is not coming back for America. These guys do not follow the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Your prayers will not restore America. It's not going to happen. So you need to get on the ark, or you're going to go down with that other ship. Read it again.
Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
To what end is it for you?
For what end is it for you?
The day of the Lord is darkness and not light.
It's darkness and not light, because when you go over to Matthew 24, Hamashiach says before he comes back, the sun will no longer be shining, the moon shall no longer give light at night, and the stars will no longer be shining. This is going to be days, weeks leading up to him coming. There will be no light on the earth until that sky crack and he steps on that cloud. So that's why Jeremiah 31:35 lets us know that the sun shining and the moon shining at night and the stars are a daily reminder that Israel matters. The day you don't see that, that's when you know Israel no longer matters. You know why? because our king's coming. You know what I'm saying? You understand? Now, go ahead.
As if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall and a serpent bit him.
That's what it's going to be like when Yeshua comes back. You say you ready for that? You really ready for that? Go ahead.
Shall not the day of the Lord be darkness and not light, even very dark and no brightness in it?
And no brightness in it. Now let's go to Luke 9. Let's go to Luke 9. And let's look at verse 51 through 56 here. And this is for all you Israelites out here who's saying, bring the fire, death to America. Let's see if you operating in the spirit that the Most High, that Yeshua really wants you to be operating with. Luke 9, verse 51. Watch this.
And it came to pass when the time was come that he should be received up, he steadfastly set his face to go to Jerusalem, and sent messengers before his face, and they went and entered into a village of Samaritans to make ready for him.
So he was on his way to Jerusalem to be crucified. He sent some people into a city because he was going to set up for a couple of days. Watch this, verse 54.
And they did not receive him.
And they did not receive him.
Because his face was as though he would go to
So
Jerusalem.
So what it was is they was upset. They wanted him to stay there for a while because they heard about all the miracles. They heard about everything he was doing. And they wanted him to stay there and you know, for them to benefit. And they wasn't worried about Jerusalem. They wasn't worried about his cause. Sounds familiar? When people only have a one-track mind, they want the blessing for themselves. And they don't want other people to get what is available to them. Right? Verse 54.
And when his disciples, James and John, saw this, they said, Lord, wilt thou that we command fire to come down from heaven and consume them, even as Elijah did?
So what happened was, when you go and read it in the Old Testament and First Kings, I'll get the precept for anybody that wants it. But Elijah was running from Jezebel and Ahab, and they sent out some soldiers to come and see him, to come take him in. And every time the soldiers would come, he would rain down fire and consume them. And then the King Ahab just kept sending them, and they would rain down more fire and consume them. Right? All of his enemies, everybody that came try to come, he would rain down fire from heaven. So James and John them over there like, yo, you want us to do this? You want us to take them out? The same thing a lot of Israelites are saying right now. Bring the fire, Most High. Bring the fire. Look at what Yeshua answer to him was. Verse 55.
But he turned and rebuked them.
He did what?
He turned and rebuked them.
He said, no, go ahead, brother.
He turned and rebuked them.
Now he said, y'all in the spirit. He turned and rebuked them. Go ahead.
He said, you know not what manner of spirit you are of.
You don't know what spirit you are. You ain't operating in my spirit right now. So all of you ones who are talking about this, Hamas out of his own mouth said, you're not operating in my spirit. But what? Verse 56.
For the Son of Man is not come to destroy men's lives, but to save them.
Read it again.
For the Son of Man is not come to destroy men's lives, but to save them.
And you are supposed to be an ambassador for him. So this is what you're supposed to be doing. Not asking for the fire to destroy. Because when he comes back, he ain't gonna need your prayers. He's gonna do that regardless. Right now, it's the rescue mission. This is the fishing season. But when he comes, the hunting season will begin. Let him do the hunting, and we supposed to do the fishing. Okay? Now, next question. Oh yeah, let me get Ezekiel 33. Matter of fact, that's good on that. But let me get Ezekiel 33 right quick. Let's just give him the spirit of the Most High right quick. We're not gonna read all of Ezekiel 33. What you got? What you got? Bring it out. Chapter and verse.
2 Esdras 9 and 13. And therefore be not curious how the ungodly shall be punished and when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, whose the world is and for whom the world is created.
Man, read that again, man. We ain't got to go to Ezekiel now. Read that again.
And therefore be not curious how the ungodly shall be punished and when,
right?
But inquire how the righteous shall be saved.
But inquire how the righteous shall be saved. Whose the world is? Con. That's so cool. Ah, that's good. We ain't got to go to Zuka now. That right there is the most out right there. Con. Now, as we said, we still got some time. You guys got some more questions? Bring it in. We got a lot of questions we haven't got to yet. So, but we will answer your questions live. So it seems like they're just enjoying these questions right now. And that's all praise too. All right, let's go. I'll say that for a minute. Let me go to the other question. Does the blood of Christ void out the law concerning the touching of the dead and a woman on her period being unclean? Does the blood of Christ void out the law concerning touching the dead and a woman on her period being unclean? That's a great question. And the answer, stay in the spirit, right? And the answer to that question, ladies and gentlemen, is no. The blood of Christ does not change the law concerning with touching the dead or a woman being on her period. She still is considered to be unclean. Now, of course, she doesn't have to go out and stay in the sanctuaries like she used to no more. But you have to understand that these things are talking about from a cleanliness perspective, right? So dealing with those things, the woman being on her period and sexual intercourse between the husband and wife, of course, you could go to Leviticus 15 to find the answers for that. And in touching the dead, you can go to Numbers, the 10th chapter. It's like in Numbers 19, 11 through 22, and this will show you what you got to do. So the best thing I would tell people to do is that if you're going to a funeral, stay away from the casket. Just stay away from the casket, right? You know what I'm saying? If God forbid a situation happens and you find a loved one in your home, or somebody get something happen, outside, you out and about. Numbers 19 chapter deals with those things it is basically about washing and being prepared. So Leviticus 19:15 talks about what you're supposed to do when you're on the period. Men, if your wife is on the period, how you got to make sure that you stay clean, especially when you're going to the Shabbat, stuff like that. And all this, and I'm saying this discreetly, with it being the Sabbath, I don't want to go into things, but some of the things that you guys be doing, you shouldn't be doing. I'm gonna just put it at that. When a woman's on her time, you can't be doing that. Okay, don't do that. But just make sure you read those scriptures and go over those things. And it's just about being clean, and protecting yourself from certain things, because some things that transpire during those times. So those verses will cover those. We'll cover those things. But no, the blood of Christ doesn't take that away. You still must follow those laws according to those particular things. All right. Now, let's go to another one. I'm dealing with extreme trust issues. I've dealt with church hurt, being betrayed. I've been betrayed, I don't know how many times, by family and friends. I made a choice years ago to just remain single because I have more peace being alone. But honestly, with everything going on, I'm tired of living this way. Are there verses that can speak to my unique situation? Let's read that again. I'm dealing with extreme trust issues. I've dealt with church hurt. I've been betrayed, I don't know how many times, by family and friends. I made a choice years ago to just remain single because I have more peace being alone. But honestly, with everything going on, I'm tired of living this way. Are there verses that speak to my unique situation? And my sister, your situation is not unique. Unfortunately, it's really commonplace for a lot of people. It's not unique, and a lot of people have been dealing with church hurt, so they don't want to gather. People are dealing with, with family and friends taking advantage of their kindness, and and then been burnt in so many relationships that a lot of people have just chose to be single and just kind of stick to themselves. But this is not the life that the Most High wants for you, and so let's go into this. Let's go to Sirach 6 on this. But one of the things I need to tell people, especially women, matter of fact, before we go there deep, go to Galatians 6 and 9 right quick. One of the things that you're finding going on amongst a lot of times, and this happened to dudes too, but I see this more prevalent in women, is where you've been good to people for so long, and the Most High gave you this courteous and nice and nurturing spirit, and then you get burnt so many times to the point where you say, "I'm not being nice no more." So, it's a lot of women right now who gave themselves to the wrong man. You understand? And now that the Most High has brought the right man into your life, you treat him horrible, and you use your past as justification for that. But there needs to be some form, I will say, of accountability on what you're doing and the choices that you make. We're going to go into that in a second when we go to Sirach 6. But I wanted to put this out here right quick of this whole thing with the church hurt and the dwelling. Give me Galatians 6 and then get Matthew 24. Galatians 6 and 9.
And let us not be weary in well doing.
And let us not be weary in well doing.
For in due season we shall reap if we faint not.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you got to understand that it seems as if right now that the good that you've done, you've never received for it. But you have to understand that you've sown seeds of that's going to come back to you when you need them the most. And just because people didn't appreciate you, that doesn't mean that the Most High didn't see your heart. You understand? Some of you was committed to the wrong pastors and the wrong churches, but that doesn't mean that there's not a church and an elder out there for you. You understand? Go ahead.
As we have therefore opportunity.
And we therefore have opportunity.
Let us do good unto all men.
To what?
Unto all men.
Go ahead.
Especially to them who are of the household of faith.
See that? See that? Now let's go to Matthew 24. And let me show you something right quick, because the Most High, through Yeshaya, said that these days is going to come, and you need to be prepared for this, because you can't be out here by yourself. So you got to be mindful of this. Let me get Matthew 24 right quick, right? And give me start with verse 11 and give me 11 and 12.
And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many.
So we have to understand that Yeshaya told us that there will be more false prophets in these times, and they will be after your money, they will be after you, they will be after your soul, they will be after trying to take advantage of you. And you go into 2 Peter 2 and 1, he says that they will speak evil of the truth, and they're going to make merchandise of you. You know what I'm saying? And this is told. But we're going to help you in a minute when we get to Sirach 6, but this is what I wanted you to see. Verse 12.
And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
You can't allow that to be you. Yes, a lot of people out here are evil and ungodly and wicked, but you can't let them being that way make you be that way. Don't let terrible people make you terrible. You understand? You're just going to have to learn better on how to choose who you be with and who you don't be with, who you be nice to and who you don't be nice to. You understand? And the Spirit is going to help you with that. And so let's go to Sirach 6 though. Let me help you with this right here too. Let's go to Sirach 6. And for those who don't have an apocrypha, if you have a separate laptop, phone, or tablet, go to Google, put in SIRACH, and put in chapter 6. You can check these verses out with us. Sirach 6, and let's start at verse 1.
Instead of a friend, become not an enemy.
Read that again.
Instead of a friend, become not an enemy.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you don't need to be everyone's friend. Just don't be no one's enemy. Just because people are saying Shalom, Kwam Yasharala, and speaking in a language and speaking in a, doing some things that are similar to you, that doesn't mean they need to be your friend. Right? Read it again. It says what?
Instead of a friend, become not an enemy.
Mm-hmm.
For thereby thou shalt inherit an ill name, shame and reproach.
And reproach.
Even so shall a sinner that has a double tongue.
See that? So a lot of your pain and a lot of your problems have came because you was probably trying to be everyone's friend. So that's one part that you have to hold yourself responsible for. And it's not right. I'm not justifying it at all. People should be able to be nice to everyone. You should be able to help everyone. But we don't. We live in an evil and cruel world, and unfortunately, you can't. But don't let the wrongs of others keep the ones who come to do right from your life. And that's what I want you to. That's what I want to put emphasis on, because there's a family, there's people out there who will be a blessing to you. And if you close yourself into a little box by yourself, you're going to miss out on the things that the Most High has for you in this season. Watch this, verse 2.
Extol not thyself in the counsel of thy own heart,
Mm-hmm.
that thy soul be not torn in pieces as a bull straying along.
Because right now, you're hurt, you're disappointed, you might even be ashamed. And if your voice is the only one that are leading and guiding you, you're going to lead yourself down to a place where you're going to be as a bull straying along by yourself. And right now, even though they pushing all this so-called social distancing stuff, bump that. You need people. We need each other. This is part of the agenda of what they're pushing. So everyone is looking at each other as a possible enemy, as a, somebody could possibly kill me with a sickness or something like that. They want you thinking like that so that we won't have powers of numbers. Don't fall for that. Because some people with this so-called stay-at-home stuff, they got husband, wife, children, mama, daddy, cousins. Some of you are by yourself. And that's terrible. This ain't good. You don't need to be sitting there by yourself, talking to yourself. You understand? Watch this. Verse 4.
A wicked,
Verse 3, Salaki, verse 3.
thou shalt eat of thy leaves and lose thy
So
fruit,
you're going to end up, as a result, eating up your leaves and lose your fruit. Go ahead.
and leave thyself as a dry tree.
You're going to be by yourself. You understand? Now, let's go down to verse 7.
If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him 1st
Mm-hmm.
and be not hasty to credit him.
Listen, you gotta spend some time with these certain people. You just can't designate everyone as a friend, man. You can't let everybody into your world just because they're talking like all good on social media and seem like you're compatible and you got some things in common. Prove them first. I don't care if it's personal relationships, intimate relationships, business relationships, whatever the case may be. Prove them first. And read that last part, D.
And be not hasty to credit him.
And be not hasty to credit him. Why?
For some man is a friend for his own occasion,
Mm-hmm.
and will not abide in the day of thy trouble.
You see that? They only around just because they need you. But when you get in trouble, they're out of the joke. That's male and female. Be careful, man. Seriously, be careful. Watch this. Verse 15.
Nothing doth countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable.
It's invaluable. Listen, the Most High has blessed me with sound counsel. There is no price on this counsel. No price. It's invaluable. Some of you right now, you don't have that at all. And don't be afraid. Don't be sad at it. Because you have a friend that will never leave. And his name is Yeshua, who the world known to be Jesus. And he will be all the friend you need until he brings some people there you can trust. But you don't devalue the fact of having someone that you truly can rely on. And I'm going to be real with you right now. Some of you are the reason why you don't have a friend like this. You need to go back and repent. Some of you won't done wrong. some of you done the other person's wrong. And you're rewriting the story in your mind so that you don't have to face the facts of what you did. You better go back and get that friend. Because some of you, the reason why you're upset and you ran off, because the real friends tell you what you need to hear. These fake friends out here telling you, yeah, girl, go on ahead and sleep with him. Yeah, girl, go ahead, homeboy. Bro, go turn up, bro. These guys don't love you, man. What have I said a million times, Jay? You're trying to be faithful to your woman, and your homeboys are telling you otherwise, the dude's wicked. If you're trying to be submissive to your man, and your girls are telling you otherwise, your girls is wicked. And some of you are keeping people around you because they're feeding the devil in you. They're making you comfortable in your sin, and you pushing other people away because they're challenging you. They're putting demands on you. They're calling that standard. They're telling you you better than that. Read it again, D. Sirach 60:15. Watch this.
Nothing doth countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable.
Invaluable. Watch this, verse 16.
A faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear the Lord shall find him.
And they that fear the Most High shall find him. You're not going to be by yourself if you're operating in the true fear of the Most High. You will find that person. Don't worry about the numbers. Focus on the value. Don't focus on the quantity. Look at the quality. You understand? Watch this. Verse 17.
Whoso feareth the Lord shall direct his friendship aright. As he is,
for as he is,
so shall his neighbor be also.
You see that? See that? Just trust the Most High. You don't need to be by yourself. And I'm telling you, you'll find things go better. Give him Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Give him that right quick. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Watch this.
Trust in the Lord with all thy heart.
Trust in the Most High with all your heart.
And
lean not to your own understanding. Go ahead.
In all thy ways acknowledge him.
This includes everything. Go ahead.
And he shall direct thy path.
And he will direct your path. He will tell you who you need to slide on, and he will tell you who you need to bring close. Okay? Now, let's keep it moving. For those who are on with us, we have no problem answering your questions, and we will answer them in the best of our abilities. Let's keep it going. Next question. See what we got here. All right, let's go into this one. I'm not trying to be argumentative or difficult in any way, but I truly think that people are making a big deal out of nothing. If some people have decided to adopt the Jewish traditions again and celebrate Christ's resurrection at Passover, and we as Christians celebrate Christ at Easter, what is the difference? To me, Colossians 2 and 16 makes it clear that there is no difference. There is no difference. I'm going to read that again. I'm not trying to be argumentative or difficult in any way, but I truly think that people are making a big deal out of nothing. If some people have decided to adopt the Jewish traditions again and celebrate the Christ resurrection at the Passover, I'm assuming she's talking about us, Israelites, and adopt and celebrate Christ's resurrection at Passover, and we, she's talking about herself, as Christians celebrate Christ at Easter, what's the difference? To me, Colossians 2 and 16 makes it clear that there is no difference. Now, first of all, I need to address the part of the question. We have not adopted no Jewish traditions. Okay, let me be clear on that. We are not Jewish. They are not Jewish. We are the children of Israel. We are from the tribe of Judah, from the nation of Israel. the so-called black man, the so-called African American. Okay. Now, let me explain that. Let's go to Titus 1. Real quick, we're just going to do this real quick because that's not the main part of the question, but I need to put that out there because I've seen this come up so many times. This was being spoken about me in my absence. I heard the other day, right? There's some people that come on, watch the lessons for a few minutes, go off, don't understand what's going on, and assuming things. So instead of coming to the source, I found out that there were some things being said about us in our absence, that we was adopting Jewish traditions. And then next thing I know, this question comes. So let's make this clear. We're not operating as no part of no Judaism. We're not operating as Christian Israelites. Okay? We're not doing any of that. There is no religion here at all. We have rediscovered and found our true identity and heritage. I'm going to show you that real quick. Then we're going to get into the meat of the question. Give me Titus 1:14 and Revelation 2:9. Okay? We're not doing anything related to Jewish or Judaism at all. Titus 1:14.
Not giving heed to Jewish fables.
We are not giving heed to Jewish fables. The word Jewish is not in the King James Bible, but one time and one time only. And this is when Paul telling us what?
Not giving heed to Jewish fables.
We don't give heed to Jewish fables. Go ahead.
And commandments of men.
And commandments of men, Judaism, that turn us from the truth. That's what Judaism does. Turn you from the truth. It's commandments of men. And who the Christians know to be Jewish people and knowing that they're God's people, this is who the world knows of Jesus Christ have to say about those guys. Revelation 2:9.
I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich.
He's talking to the real church, the real Israelites. Go ahead.
I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews.
And I know the blasphemy of them who say they're Jews and are not, but who?
But are the synagogue of Satan.
Now you can determine who meet in the synagogues and who don't. That's up to you to figure that part out. It's very simple. Okay, it's crystal clear there. Now, give them Baruch 2. Let me explain to them what happened in their waking. That we're not adopting Jewish fables, but we are rediscovering who we are. Give me Baruch, the 2nd chapter. Baruch. But you hadn't caught that 16:11. And let's go straight to it. Baruch 2, and I think let's go straight to it. Just go 30. Let's go straight to it. Baruch 2 and 30.
Well, I knew that they would not hear me because it is a stiff-necked people.
So he's saying, listen, I knew that my children were not going to listen to me, and they was going to end up falling into the curses of Deuteronomy 28. Go ahead.
But in the land of their captivity.
But where?
In the land of their captivity.
Where at?
In the land of their captivity.
And how did we get to America? In slave ships, according to Deuteronomy 28:68. Go ahead.
They shall remember themselves.
They shall adopt new traditions.
They shall remember themselves.
They shall borrow things from other people.
They shall remember themselves.
They shall remember themselves. Go ahead.
They shall know that I am the Lord.
And they will know that our high is the Most High. Go ahead. Now, we did this on our own. Now, this is a black movement that's going on. Because the Most High, according to Hosea 6:2, gave us a heart and an ear to hear. So this is not us. This is the Most High. Okay, so I wanted to address that part first. We're not taking on any Jewish traditions. The Jewish people took our traditions. Let's make that clear. Now, the second part of the question was that doing the Passover and doing Easter is the same thing. And it is not. Now, we have countless lessons where we got a lesson called Christianity versus the Bible. We got lessons that we broke all these things down. We actually broke it down on the Passover, proving that for the world known to be Jesus Christ, they're raised on a Sunday. We've done this countless time over and over and over. So tonight we're not going to break all it down. We don't have time to do all that. What we're going to do is, Dick, I want you to bring up the definition I sent you. And this is according to the Vines. You need to get you a Vines complete expository Bible dictionary. Okay. It breaks down the Old and is what they call the Old and New Testament, King James Version. You can research any words, anything in the Bible, find it in here and get the true definition and the source of it. Now, according to the Vines, this is how Easter, they're telling you the truth of where Easter comes from. Just let you know that has nothing to do with the Most High or the Bible. Read that for them.
Mistranslated Easter in Acts 12 and 4.
So what happened was, ladies and gentlemen, you notice that in the King James Version, matter of fact, go to Acts 12 and 4. Let's show them that right quick. Let's show them that, so they can get an understanding of this. Now, this is not going to say this in your New King James. It's not going to say it in your NIV. It's not going to say it in your English Standard Version, Passion versions, and all these other things. It's not going to say that in there, because they caught themselves and they had to go back and change this thing, because the jig would have been up if they wouldn't have did this. So when you go to Romans 12, Acts 12, Salaki, let's just start right there at the beginning so they can get the full understanding of that. We will give you that.
Now about
hold on. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Acts 12 and 1.
Now about that time, Herod the king stretched forth his hands to vex certain of the church.
Mm-hmm.
And he killed James, the brother of John, with the sword.
Mm-hmm.
And because he saw it pleased the Jews, he proceeded further to take Peter also. Then were the days of...
He said what?
Then were the days of unleavened bread.
He said what?
Then were the days of unleavened bread.
Then was the days. When you hear the word then, that automatically lets you know that that's past tense. Now, for those who don't know, last Friday sundown, Saturday sundown, was the Passover. We're now in the midst of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Tomorrow at sundown is the last day. Okay? This is the last day we're in it right now. When the sun go down, the Feast of Unleavened Bread is over. Notice, what's going to happen in a couple of weeks? Easter. So, Passover at the beginning. If the Bible is saying here that they did all these things then, we know that Passover is gone. Right? It's pretty clear. Right? Watch this. Verse 4.
And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 quintillions of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter.
After when?
After Easter, to bring him forth to the people.
Because Herod, ladies and gentlemen, is not an Israelite. He's an Idumean. He's what the world knows to be a white Grecian man. They celebrate Easter. Okay? So after his festival was over, that's when he was going to come back and kill Peter. These are 2 different time periods, right? So now read this with that understanding.
Mistranslated Easter in Acts 12 and 4.
Go ahead.
AV denotes the Passover. The phrase after Passover signifies after the whole festival was at an end.
See that? That lets you know that festival was gone. The Passover is over. See that? Go ahead.
The term Easter is not of Christian origin.
Read it again.
The term Easter is not of Christian origin.
The term Easter is not of Christian origin. Go ahead.
It is another from Astarte, one of the titles of the Chaldean goddess, the Queen of Heaven.
The Queen of Heaven. The same thing the Catholic Church does by worshiping Mary. Also known as Semiramis. Also known as Ishtar. Easter. Go ahead.
The festival of Pasch, held by Christians in post-apostolic times, was a continuation of the Jewish feast.
Now, the word Pascha is the Hebrew word for Passover. The people, after the birth, death, and resurrection of Mashiach was still keeping the Passover. Go ahead.
But was not instituted by Hamashiach.
Was not instituted by Hamashiach, by Jesus Christ. Go ahead.
Nor was it connected with Lent.
And nor was the Passover have anything to do with Lent. None of it. This is in your Vine Explanatory Bible Dictionary. You can find this for yourself. Go ahead.
From this, the pagan festival of Easter was quite distinct and introduced into the apostate Western religion.
Western religion.
As part of the attempt to adapt pagan festivals into Christianity.
It's not the same thing, ladies and gentlemen. You got to stop lying to yourselves. If you're celebrating Easter, you're celebrating a fallen God. Period. There ain't no way around it. Easter and Passover is not the same. And as we told you on several occasions, who the world know to be Jesus Christ was crucified on the Passover. That would have been impossible for him to be raised Sunday morning. We broke that down Tuesday night. Now, let's go into Jubilees, the second chapter. Then we're going to go into Colossians. This is going to be one of the last questions we have, unless we have some live questions, because some of these other things can be done offline, because we're going to end up going into the 3-hour mark. Now, we got some live questions. I don't have a problem. But we done pretty much answered all the ones that we got here, except a couple more. But we have no problem with answering some live questions. I think we have about 1 or 2 more. Yeah, we got 1 or 2 more. Okay, but we will still take live questions if you have them. So let's go into the Book of Jubilees. Now, for those who don't know what the Book of Jubilees is, this was given to Moses when he went onto the mountaintop to get the law from the Most High. For those 40 days, he was given the Book of Jubilees, which is the sign of the times of everything that would happen. You're going to find here, ladies and gentlemen, that all of heaven is aligned with the Sabbaths and the holy days, which means that if you're not doing the Sabbaths, which is Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, all the holy days of the Bible, the Most High is not included at all. Let's go to Jubilees, the second chapter. You can also Google this as well. Jubilees is Jubilees, Jubilees. Put it in chapter 2 and look at verse 17 through 22. And you can read along with us. All right. Jubilees chapter 2. We're going to start at verse 17. Watch this.
And he gave us a great sign, the Sabbath day, that we should work 6 days, but keep Sabbath on the 7th day from all work.
Mm-hmm.
And all the angels of the presence and all the angels of sanctification, these 2 great classes, he had bidden us to keep the Sabbath with him in heaven and on earth.
See that? So for all of you are saying that Sunday service is equal to the Sabbath, read it again, verse 18 again.
And all the angels of the presence and all the angels of sanctification, these 2 great classes, he had bidden us to keep the Sabbath with him in heaven and on earth.
So the regular Sabbath, which is Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, and the holy days, which are Sabbaths, the angels and the Most High keep those days in heaven. Sunday, ladies and gentlemen, Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, they're not involved. Just wanted to put that out there. Now, let's go into Colossians. Okay? And break down Colossians 2 so you can understand that. Can't not go into the middle of a chapter, ladies and gentlemen, pull a verse out and get an understanding. So we're going to start at near the beginning, so you can get the full understanding of what Colossians 2 and 16 is actually talking about. Okay. Go to Colossians 2. And let's start at verse 6. Okay. Colossians 2. Go ahead, Deacon. I'm ready. Verse 6.
As ye have therefore received Hamashiach Yeshua the Lord, so walk ye in him.
So you have to make sure that you received him. Now hold your place there. I need y'all to hold your place. I need y'all who want this understanding. Shabbat Shalom. Good seeing you on with us tonight. Make sure you write these things down so you get the proper understanding. Read Colossians 2 and 6 again.
As ye have therefore received Hamashiach Yeshua the Lord, so walk ye in him.
Now hold your place there and go to John 7 and 38. You got to make sure that you receive the right Jesus. Go ahead.
He that believeth on me, as the scripture has said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water.
So if you're not basing who the world ought to be Jesus Christ on the scriptures, you didn't receive the right Christ. If he's white, you didn't receive him. If he's telling you the law is done away with, you're not receiving him. If he's telling you that Sunday service is okay, you didn't receive him. If he's telling you can do whatever you want to and grace covers it all, it's not the right Christ. Okay? Go back to Colossians. It has to be according to the Bible, not the religion. Read it again, Colossians 2 and 6.
As ye have therefore received Hamashiach Yeshua the Lord, so walk ye in him.
Walk ye in him, according to the word. Go ahead.
Rooted and built up in him, and established in the faith.
Right.
As ye have been taught.
As ye have been taught by the Bible, not by man. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Philosophies. Now, you must understand, ladies and gentlemen, that Christianity is philosophy. The denominations is vain deceit. Not your pastor, per se, but the founders of the denominations. John Smith, Martin Luther, Ellen G. White, John Wesley, John Calvin. Vain deceit. Anyone who created a denomination, anyone, vain deceit, philosophy, period. Go ahead.
After the traditions of men.
After the traditions of men. After the rudiments of the world. And not after Hamashiach. You understand? Now, hold your place there. Go to Matthew 15, verse 8 and 9. You're going to see it out of his own mouth. Watch this. We're going to make sure this is crystal clear tonight. Matthew 15, verse 18 through 9, verse 8 and 9. Watch this.
This people draweth not unto me with their mouth.
So a lot of our Christian brothers are drawing near to him with their mouths.
And honor me with their lips.
And they honor with their lips. They truly believe that they're doing it right. Go ahead.
But their heart is far from me.
Why?
But in vain they do worship me.
Why is that?
Teaching for doctrines the commandments of men.
Because you're teaching and learning the doctrines from the commandments of men. You can't find any of this stuff here. Now, back to Colossians 2. We're going to take our time here. Right? Read verse 8 again, Deep.
Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the traditions of men, after the rudiments of the world, but not after Hamashiach. For in him dwelleth all the fullness of the Godhead bodily.
Right.
Ye are complete in him, which is the head of all principality and power.
Right.
In whom also ye are circumcised with the circumcision made without hands, and putting off the body of the sins.
Putting off what?
The body of the sins of the flesh by the circumcision of Hamashiach.
So what we were supposed to do was put off sins and receive the circumcision of Hamashiach. Problem is that through Christianity, you don't know what sin is. Hold your place there. Give me 1 John 3 and 4. So many of you think grace covers this, but you don't even realize that it hasn't. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Watch this. 1 John 3 and 4.
Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law.
For sin is the transgression of the law. So, ladies and gentlemen, through your ignorance, when you walk down that aisle of that church and you receive who the world know to be Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, and you repented, and some of you even when you got baptized, you went right back to sinning, breaking the law. Because the religion of Christianity told you that the law was done away with. But the Bible says what?
Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law.
So you've been sinning the whole time. You never put off sin. You understand? Now, go back. Colossians 2:11. Read that again. Watch this.
And whom also ye are circumcised with the circumcision made with these. Yeah, okay. In whom ye also circumcised with the circumcision made without hand, and putting off the body of the sins of the flesh by the circumcision of Hamashiach, buried with him in baptism, wherein also ye are risen with him through the faith of the operation of the Most High, who has raised him from the dead.
Right.
And you being dead in your sins and the uncircumcision of your flesh, has he quickened together with him, having forgiven you all trespasses.
Now, let me explain that. So, ladies and gentlemen, when you were baptized, when you go into that water, you were symbolically doing the same thing that Hamashiach did when he took the sins of Israel to hell. When he rose up out of there, all the sins of Israel were left in hell. When you come up out of that water, all of your past sins from that point are left in hell. You're supposed to come in as a new man, going forth, not breaking the law. But because you were taught that the law was done away with, you went right back into sin. Now, watch this, verse 14.
Blotting out the handwriting of ordinances that was against us, which was contrary to us, and took it out of the way, nailing it to his cross.
Nailing it to the cross. So that means the ordinances that was against us also took to hell and was done away with. Now, what was the ordinance that was against us? This lets you know, ladies and gentlemen, that none of these letters are talking to Gentiles. Because there was no ordinance against the Gentiles. Everything is talking to Israel. We know there's no ordinances that was against us. Let's go to Hebrews 10. Hold your place there. Watch this. Watch this. You're going to find out something else that Christianity has taught people is a lie. Watch this. Hebrews 10. Let's go straight to it. Verse 28.
He that despised Moses' law dealt without mercy under 2 or 3 witnesses.
See that? So the ordinances that was against us, ladies and gentlemen, was that if you sinned during the old covenant, you were stoned to death immediately. No grace. That was the ordinance that was against us. Now through the new covenant, we have grace, which gives us the opportunity to repent. But, verse 29.
Of how much sore punishment suppose ye shall he be thought worthy, who has trodden under foot the Son of God, and has counted the blood of the covenant wherewith he was sanctified.
Now you took that blood that washed and cleansed you and brought you into the new covenant, what Yeshua shed for the sins, and you did what?
Wherewith he was sanctified.
And now we were sanctified with it. And then you made it an unholy thing by going back and continuing to break the law. What? Despite grace. So grace didn't allow you to die immediately. You took the grace and went right back to sin. Now that ain't your fault. because that's what you were taught. But to understand the significance of this, go back up to 26.
For if we sin willfully after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sin.
Grace don't cover post sins in the baptism. You've been deceived. You've been deceived. This is what Colossians 2 is talking about. Now, let's go back and fully break this all the way back down. Watch this. Colossians 2. Back to Colossians 2. What was that? What we stopped at, D14?
Mm-hmm.
Now, reading verse 14 again.
Blotting out the handwriting of ordinances that was against us, which was contrary to us, and took it out of the way, nailing it to his cross.
Mm-hmm.
And having spoiled principalities and powers, he made a show of them, openly triumphing over them in it.
Now, you have to ask yourself to understand what he's talking about here is the ordinance that was against us meant that when we sinned, we were immediately put to death. How was sin covered in the Old Testament? Sacrifices. So the ordinances that was against us was all the sacrifices. See, what's the problem is, my Christian brothers and sisters, because you've been taught not to read the Old Testament, you don't know that for every Sabbath, there was a sacrifice. For every new moon, there was a sacrifice. For every holy day, there was a sacrifice for sin. These things was done on a weekly, feast day, new moon basis around the clock. All the time. Now, because the ordinances are done away with, and Christ being the ultimate sacrifice, we don't have to sacrifice animals no more. With that understanding, now read verse 16.
Let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink or in respect of a holy day or the new moon or of the Sabbath days.
That was talking about other Israelites who hadn't received Christ, who were still doing the sacrifices, ladies and gentlemen. Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving was never a holy day or Sabbath. So what the problem was is that people were being judged because they wasn't doing the sacrifices no more, pleading the blood over these things. They was doing communion on each one of the holy days and new moons the same way we do, instead of doing sacrifices. That's what Paul was talking about. Let no man judge you. Those were the ordinances nailed to the cross. Not that you could come in and make up your own holy day now. This means that on these holy days and Sabbaths, you didn't have to do these things anymore. Watch this. Verse 17.
Which are a shadow of things to come, but the body is of Hamashiach.
Mm-hmm. Now he tells you this. Watch this.
Let no man beguile you of your reward in a voluntary humility and worshiping of angels.
Christmas and Easter. Because you don't know this, but Easter is celebrating a fallen angel. Christmas is celebrating a fallen angel. So when you celebrate these holidays, you're voluntarily giving up your reward to worship angels, and you don't even know that. Go ahead.
Intruding into those things which he has not seen, vanity puffed up by this fleshly mind,
Mm-hmm.
and not holding the head from which all the body by joints.
And notice that head is capitalized. That's Hamashiach, the head of the church. Go ahead.
From which all the body by joints and bands having nourishment ministered and knit together increaseth with the increase of the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
Wherefore, if you be dead with Hamashiach from the rudiments of the world.
So if you're dead from the rudiments of the world, go ahead.
Why, as though living in the world, ye are subject to ordinances.
Why are you living to those ordinances of the world and putting the commandments of the Most High to the side? Shabbat shalom, little Sean. Good to see you over today. So why are the rudiments of the world being honored more than the Most High? And he asked that same question. Go back to Matthew 15. He asked the same exact question. And this is the question that I will leave with you. Matthew 15, verse 3.
But he answered and said unto them, why do ye also transgress the commandments of the Most High by your tradition?
And that's what I leave with you. Why would you transgress the commandments of the Most High for keeping Passover for your tradition? God? Now, let's see. We answered that. We answered that. We answered this. Let's see. Answered that. Okay, we got one more. Genesis 6, verse 6 through 7 says that God regretted that he ever made man. Why would anyone want to serve a God that wish he had never made them in the first place? I'll read that again. I think this is a good question to end off on. Genesis 6, verse 6 through 7 says that God regretted that he had ever made man. Why would anyone want to serve a God that wish he had never made them in the first place? Now, read that verse right there. Genesis 6, 6 through 7.
And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast and creeping thing, and the fowl of the air, for it repented me that I have made them.
Now, not understanding all of the Most High, when you read that and not understanding what really took place there, yeah, it sounds like the Most High said he regretted man. But let me get Revelation 13 and 8. Let me see if that's a fact. This is why the Bible said precept must be among precept. Line upon line. Here a little, there a little. That's the only way you're going to get proper understanding. Watch this. Revelation 13 and 8.
And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world.
So now, if he slain the Lamb before any man ever sinned, why would he regret making man if he gave him a way out before he ever sinned? You see that? That's just like saying your parents saying, man, I get tired of you just not wasting my money. I get tired of you not saving your money. I regret I ever gave you some money. But it got a savings account in your name before you was born. You see what I'm saying? You don't understand, brother. You're trying to look at it from a practical understanding. You're not fully looking at the whole picture. He's talking about those wicked men. He's not talking about you, because the next verse says, but Noah found grace in the eyes of the Most High. Now we're going to take you into Jasher and give you the totality of the story. And does this sound like a God that didn't want to save man? Let's go check it out. But if you granted that he made man, ladies and gentlemen, he would have never slain Jesus Christ before the foundation of the earth. Before ever sin was ever done, he already gave man a redemption plan. That sounds like love to me. Right? So let's go to Jasher. Go to Jasher, chapter 5. We're going to show you the backstory of all of this so you can understand how much the Most High really, really loves his people. Okay? Now, I know most of y'all don't got this. So once again, you can go to your separate laptop, tablet, or phone. You put in Jasher, Sklocking, Jasher, Jasher. And You can in chapter 5. You want to prove Joshua first before we do that? Yeah. For the people who don't have it, let's prove Joshua with the Bible first. So you can notice that this could be a trusted book. Let's prove it. Let's prove Joshua first. Let's go to Joshua. Let's go to Joshua 10 and 13 and 2 Samuel 1 and 18. Let's prove Joshua with the Bible first, so people will understand that this is a book you can trust. Let's go to Joshua 10 and 13.
And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Is it not written in the book of Joshua?
If it's not written in the book of Joshua, now let's get 2 Samuel 1 and 18. The Bible says, with 2 or 3 witnesses, let every word be established. So that's your first witness. This is your second. 2 Samuel 1 and 18.
Also, he bade them to teach the children of Judah the use of the bow.
Mm-hmm.
Behold, it is written in the book of Joshua.
It's written where?
In the book of Joshua.
In the book of Joshua. So the Bible proves that Joshua is a book in which you can go into. All right. Now, let's go to Joshua, the 5th chapter. And you're going to find out everything that the Most High did before he destroyed all of mankind. Let's go to Joshua 5, and let's start at verse 5.
And all who followed the Lord died in those days before they before they saw the evil which the Most High declared to do upon the earth.
So all the people who was righteous, all of the people who was doing what thus says the Most High, before the Most High destroyed the earth, he brought all of them out. He let them come to heaven. So that's what you have to understand. We'll go to the bosom of Abraham, where heaven at the time. The point what I'm saying is this, is that when you hear the story and you hear that the whole world was destroyed except 8 people, what you don't know is that everybody who was righteous was already protected before these bad days came. Kind of like what you're going to see in America. Before all this stuff bad happened, all of his sons and daughters are going to be long gone from America before the bad stuff happened. That's why he said in the days of the Son of Man will come, so shall be the days of Noah. We're going to be gone out of America long before it gets tough. So as long as you see an Israelite on the corner, as long as you see Israelites broadcasting trying to wake you up, you have some time. We don't see Israelites no more. That's where you know. So I wouldn't wait till that day if I was you. Verse 6.
After the lapse of many years, in 480 year of the life of Noah, when all those men who followed the Lord had died away from amongst the sons of men, and only Methuselah was left, the Most High said unto Noah and Methuselah, saying, Speak ye and proclaim to the sons of men, saying, Thus saith the Lord, return from your evil ways and forsake your works, and the Lord will repent of the evil that he declared to do to you, so that it shall not come to pass.
So, ladies and gentlemen, he took every righteous man, woman, boy, and girl, and he took them back to him. He left Methuselah, which was Noah's father, and Noah. He left those 2, and he told them, all of these evil people that was in the world, he went and tell them to go preach and tell them to repent. Watch this. Go ahead.
But thus said the Lord, Behold, I give you a period of 120 years.
He said what?
Behold, I give you a period of 120 years.
He gave the wicked people 120 years. Go ahead.
If you will turn to me and forsake your evil ways, then will I also turn away from the evil which I told you, and it shall not exist, saith the Lord.
120 years. Does that sound like somebody who didn't want to save people? Watch this, verse 9.
And Noah and Methuselah spoke all the words of the Lord to the sons of men day after day.
How long?
Day after day.
Day after day.
Constantly speaking to them.
Constantly speaking to them.
But the sons of men would not hearken to them, nor incline their ears to their words, and they were stiff-necked.
Kind of like what you see today. No matter what you break down this Bible, many of our people refuse to change. And when it started happening, they said, look what the devil is doing. What kind of God would do this? What kind of people want to hear to the truth? Verse 11.
And the Lord granted them a period of 120 years, saying, if they will return, then will the Most High repent of the evil, so as not to destroy the earth. Noah, the son of Lamech, refrained from taking a wife in those days to beget children. For he said, surely now the Most High will destroy the earth. Wherefore then shall I beget children?
Like, listen, man, I'm not going to get no children, man. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to get no children because, listen, the Most High, I know what he about to do. So Noah didn't even worry about getting no children. Be like, listen, I'm about to just do this work for the Most High. I ain't worried about me. How many of you willing to put your family on hold to do the work of the Most High? Watch this, verse 13.
Noah was a just man.
He was a what?
Was a just man.
Uh-huh.
He was perfect in his generation, and the Lord chose him to raise up seed from his seed upon the face of the earth.
So when you hear these crazy sermons in the church about Noah was a drunk, that's a lie. Noah got drunk one day. The Most High ain't using no alcoholic man to replenish the earth. That's the kind of things they tell you in the Christian church so you can remain comfortable in your sin. That is not our father Noah. Verse 14.
And the Lord said unto Noah, take unto thee a wife and beget children.
Right.
For I have seen the righteous before me in this generation.
Mm-hmm. Now, just for a second time, Deep, going down to verse 22.
In that time, the Lord said to Noah and Methuselah, stand forth and proclaim to the sons of men all the words that I spoke unto you in those days. Peradventure they may return from their evil ways. And I will repent of the evil and will not bring it. And Noah and Methuselah stood forth and said in the ears of the Son of Men all that the Most High had spoken concerning them.
Mm-hmm.
But the sons of men would not hearken.
Still wouldn't listen.
Neither would they incline their ears to all their declarations.
Mm-hmm.
And it was after this the Lord said to Noah, the end of all flesh has come before me.
Okay, it's a wrap now. I gave him 120 years. Go ahead.
On account of their evil deeds, and behold, I will destroy the earth. And do thou take unto thee gopher wood, and go to a certain place, and make a large ark, and place it in that spot.
Right.
And thus shalt thou make it 300 cubits in length, 50 cubits broad, and 30 cubits high. And thou shalt make unto thee a door open at its side, and to a cubit thou shalt finish above, and cover within and without with pitch.
Now just go down to verse 33. Watch this.
And Noah rose up and he made the ark in the place where the Most High commanded him, and Noah did as the Lord ordered him. It was his 595th year. Noah commanded to make the ark. Noah commanded to make the ark, and he made the ark in 5 years, and as the Lord had commanded.
So outside of the 120 years, the Most High allowed Noah to spend another 5 years making an ark on dry ground. 125 years. Nobody listened in the world. You telling me he didn't care? Or is that the people didn't care? The same way people don't care now. Watch this. Verse 35.
Then Noah took the $3 of Eliakim, son of Methuselah, for wives for his sons, as the Lord had commanded Noah. And it was at that time Methuselah, the son of Enoch, died. 960 years old was he at his death.
Now it's getting ready to rain. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we end off today, if anyone else has a question, we're going to answer it. But if not, we're going to call it a night. We pray and hope that something was said tonight that spoke to your situation, that gave you some understanding and the opportunity to receive the Most High in a manner in which you should. Tonight, we'd like to give all praise. We'd like to give all glory. We'd like to give all honor to Ahaya Bahashem Yeshaya and his precious Ruach. We thank each and every one of you for joining us tonight. We thank each and every one of you that submitted questions. And we pray and hope that what the Most High brought forth tonight will not come on deaf ears. Ladies and gentlemen, the Most High love you. You got something you want to play in off with? Oh, okay. Pray and hope. I surely pray and hope that you come back to the Most High. And if you don't, it can't be because you didn't know. It can't be because no one ever told you. It can't be because you didn't have the opportunity. It's only going to be because you didn't want it. So as we always say, ladies and gentlemen, continue to be steadfast. We always say continue to be unmovable. It's always continue to say could be unmovable, never wavering until the ways of the Most High higher. And know and trust, ladies and gentlemen, that we will be here for you. We'll be here to do anything we can do to help you get along this journey. Take this time to think, shut down, and seek the Most High. Seek Him. And know that you got some brothers and sisters around this world that will be there for you. We love each and every one of you. And we pray and hope that you as well be a part of that 1/3. To all my peoples out there, Barakatah, Kwam Yasharala, Shalom.
I don't belong to any religion. No, I would do anything bigger than me. No, I don't conform to the norms of the world. So many things walking to and fro on the earth. I came out of hell to be separate. I am no longer lost and desperate. I have consent to the commandment, cause it's all never done with. I don't just say I believe in him. I try to do what he said do. He's coming back again for his lost sheep of Israel. Count me in 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Count me in 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Count me in 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Count me in 1/3, 1/3. It's so sad, 2/3 won't make it. 2/3 won't make it. Sure, God's been his line and he made a way. He is a provider, glorified and filled with love. There is no other. He's the greatest one of us. Do what he is, he's taking up. Some of the service, we gotta see it up. First step, start with you, and forget everything you know.
Gotta forget everything you knew.
You wanna be left behind, caught up in the maze, walking blind. I wanna be in that number. I'm
Always say that you gotta be steadfast, unmovable, always about to the work of the Most High. We love each and every one of you. So all my people out there. Shalom.
I wanna be like God. I wanna be like God.